Hi there, welcome back once again. In this video we'll focus on post methods such as get post. Okay, so here we are in our app.json files where we left in the last video. So let's come here. So to create that post method, we'll come here and let's bring the terminal a little downward. Okay, so I have assigned this variable, taken this variable as an app, so I'll call app.get. So this is the get method. Okay, so this is the first HTTP method we are writing here. It's a get. Altogether we are many. So in this API we're going to work in the four HTTP request methods, like first get, second post, third is update, and the last one is going to be delete. Inside the update there are two more methods, one is put and one is patch, which we will cover in detail. Okay, so let's focus for the time being, let's focus on get method. And here we have to specify the URL of our get method. Okay, API. So let's give this comma, and here you can define your path. It's totally up to you that what kind of path URL you want to define to your API. So I'll go with this /API /v1 /ecommerce ecommerce. So the reason why I have structured my API path name like this, because this stand for e-commerce. Okay, and this v1 stand for version. So in industry you will find this kind of things a lot. So v1 is for the first version. If you have any update, if you have added any extra feature in your API, so you don't simply remove this v1 to v2, because in that case what happens, if someone's already using your API in the old versions, and if you suddenly make the changes in v2, change this URL to v2, so those who are already using, they're not able to use your API. They will get 404 error. Okay, so when we update into our API, we'll do this in this way. This one is v1 for the first version, v2 for the second version, and you give them notification that these are the feature we have in the second version of our API, and they can simply install that and simply access the feature. So this is how I'm defining it's API, because API is API. We are building for an e-commerce site, and this is stand for version, and this is we are building for an e-commerce, so that's why I've given e-commerce. If you're building for sports, so you can add that way. And here, once we provide the API path, now we can assign the couple of methods. So first one is going to be request, and second one is going to be response, and it's going to be a arrow function, and inside this we're going to send the response. So when someone's hitting this route, so we'll get the request and we'll send the response. And this is how we can do it. So if we want to send the request, so I'll say dot status, and we have to send the status code. So 200 stand for okay, and 404 stand for bad request, which means page not found. So we are sending the request, sending the information to the client. So I'll say okay, and the data, the file I'm sending is going to be in JSON format, because we're going to read the file from here and display into our browser. Okay, so this is the file which we are reading. Okay, simply. So here in this, what I will send first, I'll send. So before I send the response, let me quickly import the data we have in this file here, so we can send the request here. So to import the data, all we can do is simply come here and let's import the data. So I'll take const and I'll say let's call it data object. Okay, and I'll use this fs model. We have already installed fs model, and in that I'll use the read file. So there are two, one is read file and one is read file synchronous, and here I'm going to use read file synchronous. And the difference between read file and read file synchronous is, so read file synchronous, what it does, when a user hit any request, it will first load the complete data and then will pass on to the next execution, to the next function, But what read file does, when a user hit the data, what happens at that time, the entire data, if the data is very heavy, so the entire data is keep loading at the background of the application, but the front code will keep executing. Okay, and once the entire data get loaded, then that data will display. But with the synchronous function, what happens, the entire application will stuck for a moment, unless or until the entire data is not completely read from the server. So what I will do, I will take this, and inside this again I'm going to use the template literal, and I'll take this $sign bracket and this dr. So you might be thinking that what is dir, and this dir stand for the root directory in which you are working. So right now I'm in this video folder, and this is the root directory, and this dir stand for that. And from there I need to get into this product folder. So I'll say product product folder. Inside the product folder I have to get into the data folder, so I'll say data data, and inside that I have to select the specific JSON file. So I'm going to take the sample data which I have, so I'll take sample sample.json. okay, so I have the data here. I can simply come here, and here I will use the UTF convention. So you have to provide this, then you can able to read the document. So I have the data into this object. Okay, I can successfully read that. So if I want to check whether it's working or not, all I can do is simply come here, and let me console log out this to show you. So if I console log out this entire document, I'll get a string. Okay, console log, and this call will call data objects, and this will give me a string. So here you can see that I can successfully read the entire document, entire this JSON file, and I can able to see here. You can see I can successfully in console log out the entire data. The ID is 0, and if I come here, and here is the ID 0, the forest hiker duration. So all the information I can easily console log out into my terminal, and I can read it. Okay, but right now you can't use this data, because to use it we have to convert it into a JavaScript object. It's in string, so to convert that, all we can do is, let's make this downward, and this is how we can convert it. So I'll take another variable. I'll say product data. Okay, I'll call it data, and I have to use JSON dot parse, and in this I can simply parse the data object. So right now this function simply convert this string data into a JavaScript object. And if I console log out this right the moment, so if I copy this and if I paste here, and if I console log out this, so before I do that, let me clear my terminal. So let me show you. So to clear your terminal, to kill your server, all you can do is simply Control and C. So this will clear your terminals, and right now if you save, nothing will happen because your nodemon is not running at this moment. So we have to start the server. So again, let me clear the terminal, and I can say npm start, and once again I'm back online and my entire project is working. So here you can see that I have successfully converted that string into a JavaScript object, and now I can use it. And once you convert that, you will see that the color is changes for the text and all the variables. So we are successfully reading the file from our sample data, and we are converting that from string to JavaScript object and consoling log out. Okay, so everything is working fine, and let me show you that right now we have to send this data into the response of this URL. So in this, I'll come here. First thing, we have to define the status of this status, that what is the status of this request. So I want to send success, success, and in that I will pass the data is going to be an object. So in this I can do it in this way. Simply I can take this product name, product data, and in that I can simply call product data, okay, product data, and if I save it, so right now I can easily able to access this information in this URL. So simply copy this URL, and let's come here, let's go to the browser, and right now you can see that our port is running on 3000. So we can simply paste the URL here. So if I hit tab, I can able to see all the information right in the browser. So let me hit the tab. So here we have all the data from our data.json file, and we can able to see it. So ID0, the forest hiker, and all the information is here. So we are successfully read the information from our data.json file and display into our browser. So this is how you can do it. But let me show you how you can modify this code in a little more way. Okay, so here you can see that we have the same name and we have the same product, a variable name. So what I can do, instead of writing this twice, and this is happening because of the ECMA 6, which bring a lot of modification and made JavaScript a lot of powerful. So we can simply remove that code, and if we can save it, and if we command in the browser, if I make the request, I'll get the same data. So this is how we can modify it. Okay, So with this, the get method is completed. This is what all you need to know about the guest request. So that's it in this video, and that's all you need to know about the get method of HTTP, and we'll cover in brief about this when we'll render the data and we'll modify as per the application we are building in this project. So with that, let's move to the next video. In the next video, I would like to talk about the one tool which every API developer needs while building their API. So right now you can see this data doesn't make much sense, and you can able to see that what's going on here. So for that purpose, we're going to install a tool which is called Postman, and I will tell you that how you can get the same data in more format way and how you can do the couple of testing, because throughout this entire project we're going to use Postman a lot. Without that we can't able to build our API. So let's move to that. And there are a lot of tools in the market for API development, but the one I prefer is Postman. So let's talk about that in the next video.